time as of 2015, but I'm getting old, so. Good evening. Look at this. Look at all you. First thing, are you excellent? Good. I'm so glad we are at a point where we can gather again. My name's Bruce. I live in the South. I write stuff. I'm a friend of Bill's. I'm his host, concierge, and hopefully his biographer. I first met Bill at a reading in 2015 at a coffee house. Maybe some of you were there, East London. And that was it. I wanted to bring him back. And that's happened 3 times. Most recently by the efforts of Jennifer Clinton, supervisor of this branch of London Public Library. So Bill has returned to London for you, his friends. So many of you who have known him so much longer than I have. So please help me to welcome the poet and artist, excuse me, recognized by Margaret Atwood as my astral twin, the one who playwright James Rainey refers to as a one-man universe, and who author Jack Kerouac called a great poet, Bill Bissett.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and thank you, Bruce, very much. Thank you, everyone, for showing up here. It's very beautiful to see you. It's beautiful to see, and it's beautiful to be. Almost anywhere, you know, but here is wonderful. And, okay. I think it's good to start a reading with the poet just leafing through pages. You never know what'll happen. Oh, I see. They want me to leaf through here. What a genius plan. It's a genius. Here we are. Excellent. Oh, look, water has appeared magically. Thank you, Bruce. Is everyone excellent tonight? Has everyone gone through many myriads of tunnels of magic consciousness, unpredictable nuances of meaning, and flights of behavior? I'm just waiting till a couple of friends to see. Wow, this is so excellent. Okay, excellent. It'll take me a while to just get used to everything. It's very moving for me to be here. It's moving for me to actually be anywhere. Don't you think? Thank you. Yokoshimana Hayaki, Yashimana Hayakin, the Yoshimania, Oyokoshimana Hayaki. I got a feeling, I got a feeling we're gonna make this and strong. We got the holy breeze coming through the trees, we got the holy breeze coming through the trees, we got all the love of flowing, honey, off through our soul now. Hey, look up. See the stars dancing, taste the mead, and are moving through the desert fire and the holy mountain. Coming through our head, Oshimania, and coming to you, coming into me, coming into you, coming into me. I got a feeling, honey. Oh, we're gonna make this thing strong now. And the green wind is moving off through the summer tree. And the green wind is moving through the summer tree. And the green wind is moving through the summer tree. Hey, we see the river flow through us. We call the river moving through the summer tree. And the green wind is moving through the summer tree. Wishima hara kirshimania, hey kirshimana hara kirshimania, kirshimana hayaki, kirshimana hayaki. I dream of northern skies. 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 I dream. Ushana hama hashama hayaki shimana hayaki hayaku shimana hayaki. You fell from the sky, in from the sea, swam into my hands. I was there for you. Oh, what was the time? Oh, what the season? Oh, was there a reason I was there for you? Stars are out, waves come in. I see it sings like the dreamers are coming. Oh, see it moans and I come in. A loving, it takes us like a dreamer's coming. A dreaming of the night. A dreaming of the night. A dreaming of the fire. Of the fire. Of the fire. A near life experience it was. And then as we got closer to where we were going to, which we were already into, I'm just going to adjust this light here. Well, no, I'm not going to. It's like I can't actually see well here. No, thank you, Bruce. Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. I had eye surgery on my left eye just before COVID kicked in. And the surgery was not yet successful. So I'm still putting drops in 4 times a day. And sometimes I think I can see stuff, you know? If I move my head sort of this way, I can see some of your almost faces. So that's encouraging. The silver mirage is changing, always. Like silverware, we polish, burnish the vases, so responsive to our touching and rubbing. So many memories distill, transform with tending. Elliptical, they're always often becoming transient, golden, dots dissolving and changing in the molecular tapestry. Wait, there's been a change, of course. My brain is changing. It's bigger now, almost too big for my skull, which is stretching to accommodate, contain its cerebella, growing the almost disappearing role of narrative in some of these realms, encircling and or overwhelming less and less. They're changing into the continuing strands of orchestration we carry and distilling the edges of almost anything, parading through and by years and years of interaction, years of less so, burnishing until almost golden. Every molecule is seeming shine and helps light our path through the snow. I saw a ship of snow and ice gliding through the river, soft and strong, heading toward the silver bridge. This is the book I always wanted to write. Why? Yes, the enigma of stardust, of miners coming up for air, the enigma of a new day, the enigma of time and space, the harmonies of all the planet's bodies, planetary bodies, and the enigma of many radiators with wings hurtling themselves through the amazing wind tunnels, singing their awesome hit, The Gift of Gravity, and their ever recent song, There's Spaghetti in the Fridge, Don't You? No, I don't want to move it in case we all blow up. Joel and me were discussing how we feel about the unknown. Well, we were all talking about that over dinner. Sometimes I find the unknown awkward. Let's see. Okay, excellent. Here we go. Well, where are we going? Okay, excellent. Excellent. So those are very recent poems. that I'm working on in the new book I'm working on now. And excellent. And here's some more recent poems in the new book I'm working on now. Then soon we'll get to poems from my latest book, It's a Sailor's Life, Still in Treatment, Meditations from Gold Mountain, which is where I live half the time in Gold Mountain, or sometimes called Mattawa, and half the time in Toronto. David dug the hole. We only had one shovel. I held my best friend, Boo Boo, in his magic blanket and lowered him into his grave, kissing and hugging him, saying, I love you, little Boo, I love you. I couldn't get up from his grave. I wanted to be in too. I held out my arm, didn't look up, and Cindy pulled me up. We moved earth softly on him, then topsoil made it all firm, and then big rocks no raccoon could budge. And we all said, we love you. It was near the ancient birch tree, a few meters from the river. He is a magic person. I talked to him there, and in my heart, he loved me unconditionally, and me him. Mostly people don't do that, but this very conscious cat does. Even he's flying somewhere, and me as well, beyond the fingers of time. Oh, I need some water. Lighting is so amazing. Everywhere I go, there's different lighting. Do you find everywhere you go, there's different lighting? And our minds and brains and beings adjust to it? It's so exciting, isn't it? Yeah. How many people love being in trains? Are trains excellent? Yes. I was in a train only today. I loved it. Okay, here's another story, if I can read it, that happened up in the Mattawa. I was inside typing. You know, I'm always inside typing. Sometimes I'm outside typing, but it depends on the weather. If I have my computer, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, excellent. So I looked up, and there was someone strange hovering around on the deck. I was looking up at. He was carrying in strange, wiry moves, long white hair, partly bald, looking and weaving in the cold winter wind. I got up from my macaire, went to the window door, asked, what are you looking for? I'm looking for these people who want to move. Well, me, I said, I'm already moved, thanks to Bruce here at that time. I don't need, because he drives me there, me and little Boo. Weren't those amazing drives?
Yeah, very much.
Boo Boo loved them, didn't they?
We all did.
We all did, yeah. I don't need more moving now. What were their names? I didn't really get their names, he said. Where do they live, I asked. He said, they live at the back of this building. That's what they told me. Do you know which apartment, I asked? No, he said. I didn't get that either. There's another apartment over there on the lane. Okay, I'll look, he said. And there's this one next door, I said. Me hoping they would move. We all are. They scream at each other so much. Their verbal violence so deeply upsetting. Boo hated it. I was no big fan of it either. We never could get any sleep. And amazing lines like, look what you've done to me. I'm gonna kill you. I've got a knife now. Do you know? I have a knife. How could the other person not know they live here? It's not new information. If they were paying attention. But you know, you don't always pay attention. You know? And then upsetting for everyone who hears them. She yelling, you fucking asshole. He's screaming, look what you've done to me. You're killing me. Ah, what's your name? I asked this person. Reg, he said. Mine's Bill, I said. And he looked like he knew. So you're a mover, I asked. Yes, he said. Can you move us closer to spring? I'll do my best, he said, waving and weaving off through the parking lot and into the distance, never looking at the other apartments he talked about. What was he looking at? Was it already inside him, etc.? Eating him, two friends said, what is on? Eating him? I don't know. The poem is writing new versions of it. Oh, I know, I'll probably drop the M. Meeting him. Yeah, I thought, meeting him, two friends said he was a ghost. He had gone to spirit months ago. And this 200-year-old building is definitely haunted. I wondered, who's a ghost? Or merely ghostly? And who's not haunted? Sometimes the memory we select to guide us, drive us, are they free range or carnivore? Or what carnival do we want life to remind us of or renew us? And speaking of almost anything which is which, as Putin is driven by outdated ideas, the worn-out ideas of complete oligarchic empire power, a ghost in his own killing machine, let's find out if he's a ghost apparition or not. There's at least one way to know. A toilet bowl set to explode when it experiences Putin's DNA, when he sits on it, smelly, but gone. So I entered this poem in a contest of poems that have questions and then resolutions, and I never heard back. But isn't that eligible? And that person's name really was Reg, and he had actually gone to spirit months before. So he was actually what conventionally is called a ghost, I guess. And he'd been going to visit lots of places, the buildings of which he'd hung out in previous time zones. So it's like, that's corroboration, isn't it? Other people believing that. I mean, so that was a conversation with a ghost. Yes, excellent. Okay, I'm having more water, is that okay? But that's a very wonderful Mattawa adventure, and everyone talked about it for a few days, and he showed up somewhere else, some other place across the river, and for 3 weeks he was showing up and then disappeared. He didn't look like a ghost. As they say in ghost stories, he looked like any of us, you and I, you or I. But he was ghostly. We were talking about Mary Shelley on the way here, her brilliant book Frankenstein. How many people here have read it? Yeah, see, I figured. Isn't that cool? Okay, excellent. Excellent.
Almost everybody put their hand up.
What?
Almost everybody put their hand up.
I know, isn't that great?
Yeah,
It's one of the
great.
best books ever written,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I've read it a couple times.
Yeah, so it's astonishingly profound, isn't it?
Yeah.
And brilliant all the way through. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a poem from my less new book called Breath, a selected collected works from 1957 to 2000, and was that 19? The year before COVID. Fanfare. Drum roll. Veronica, if you were maple and acorn trees winding down along the desert sideboards, whenever telling whisperers marginate all the dawn-held trestles, is time and reefer opulence, one days at Keast saving terrible times and wanton soul troubles for the leeward gains, westerly ridiages of some tuffle remakes, and coffee irritants, banging, and windows are cleaning all the waftering weasels and hill sand blasts. When you hear the waves sing, Sally, wouldn't that you, wasn't the rhyming, oh, surely about the desire that held you, rocked you, me. I was wafer thin that day, and sogging to hear the bells play. And the leaves growing bigger and tracks laid and plans rearranged and wallets and walnuts and wasn't it about time for some ecstasy, rapture, that could beg sorrow, morrow, the tremuling saw, I saw a baby eagle up in the tree there, a good sign, and then someone, and then it was surely time to go, for I'd be late for the next pastoral stimmer, and said sorrow to be going, and the hills climbing in the memory gainfully tree plucked and growing, oh lay me over and down, 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 I was wanting all night, no one else there, and I was watching the moon move through the trees, move through the skies, the blessedies, plessidies, so some grammar of the many verses I was observing, pleats and mackerels, yellow side wagering, and tree planting, the trellis bed. He wouldn't sow a verrochia. Do you remember the rocking, or wasn't it all the sheep so floating, the colors, all of them lifting, lightening the mess of the, okay, so mistaken circuitry, what to call it, anshula, a boiling, and there's the sea of plenty, took us into all kindling a rise, a smile, and all night there was no one else there, all have Sally, and that's what a life dance said. My mother told me, there'd be days like this, but I went back to helping the up freshly spruce pink flowers grow, say managements, but my mother said there wouldn't be this many days like this, a loving, yes, people watering, a grazing temple, a massage and blessing, the orange, a Winifred, a wax wreath, ording, a taste, trala ingar, uyus, a yarin tafarama, amania, sending the grammars of the sea tides, tree, lack, words of the lavender lightning. Didn't you know? Trying to go forward, going on for words alone, in the moon, lotting, ring, ping, ting, with each other, remandering, seek, oak, grip, and tangled ways, and larkspur, honey, it'll get better, it can. I wrote that when I lived in London. Thank you. And that was a big breakthrough for my writing when I was living here in London, not only being in the amazing band Luddites, which was an amazing time of my life to be part of. I was beginning to do writing like the Veronica poem, where it wasn't always one line, and it wasn't always connecting, it could cascade and do many different things. And that was, it had started before, but then I'd gone more toward A to B narratives, not any aspersion on that, but I'd gone into that more deeply than I had before, and then when I lived in London, I was returning and more expansively to something I was tapping into, and it really helped me that I was in that band, amazing band, because then I could hear the music, and I could hear every thought doesn't need to be completed on the page, because the reader's got a brain, do you know what I'm saying? And et cetera, and what was it Yul Brynner said in The King and I? And so forth. I was thinking a lot lately about what he said in that movie. Sometimes it really is a puzzlement, isn't it? Yes. But we're up for it, aren't we? We're good for it? Yes? And this is a poem I wrote coming out of radiation treatment. That would be last December, yes, and early January. And the treatment itself was very serene and very beautiful. I really recommend it. It's a wonderful feeling. Just lying on a gurney and they beam stuff to you, and they said, do you want to hold the ring? And I was thinking of Tolkien, weren't you? I said, okay, sure, one ring to bind us, whatever. And I said, do you hear that music? And they said, Bill, there's no radio on. I know, it doesn't have to be a radio. This is 2021, isn't it? Or was it 2022? And so it was lovely, harmonic, sort of like Xenia, but with a rock thing, a rock beat like this, and very, very mellow. perfect music, but apparently it wasn't in the room. How many people have that experience? Get on a gurney and you can get it. Especially when they give you the ring to hold. You know, it's great. So this poem I wrote while I was getting over the treatment. That takes about a month and a half, and it really hurts. That part I don't so much recommend. I just think lying down on a gurney and hearing amazing music is highly recommendable. That part. I've never read this before. It's in the new book I'm working on now. Baba. Zero of Plutarch's remembrances and leisure aware. Tempo, tempo. We tread the hours of diaphanous flowers and soil earth. I remember Phlegm, he said, coughing in a sudden haze. Wasn't that tiny town nestled in the mountains near Avonway Mountain, near range, almost every part of it looking over on the Brindle Sea coast where the waves were towering, thunderous. Touch this, he would say. It's a stone from Andalay, Trenchant, and Pearly Town neighboring on Phlegm. Do you remember our amazing times there? Every 3 months there would be a day that would last 100 years. And we would get so much done that when nights returned, we slept 20 hours, seeing all our reflections in the huge hourglass in the center of town. Yes, we did hug unrelentingly in full dream of is, as we were taught, always overcoming the perennial nightmares of loss and pain we can become so alone with. And remember the dancing, right as full moons, uplifting our sorrows, always changing to so many pleasures, and on with the tragedies, time and place, and expectations, the river lethal, and give away, running through all of them. And those hours treading through all the diaphanous flowers, opening lens upon lens, the marble archways, and the delight in the ice cream, and the anxiety so much better with the meditating and chanting and therapy talk, and infinite applications of love and acceptances, the mirroring rhymes of features and support. And it's not all for us, but for everyone born, bonding, organ, and suffice the fleshy, suffice, touch, remembrances, and the dream of memory, charity, chantels, the differing rhythms of mercury, night, light, faster and penetrating luster. The person who had threatened to kill, now smiling on me, getting off. It's my stop. And the rain and blessing in the still, quiet places, the river moves. Thank you. Thanks very much. That poem helped a lot with the recovery that I was going through. Because with writing that poem, it came to me, I don't have to resist the lack of recovery at that particular time, go with it. You know, so that poem guided me to go with it. And it came from those sources that help us in life we don't know the names of. And I started getting better. Boo sat with me every day in the bathroom for a month and a half. I was in the bathroom. It's no big deal, but I was in there like 15 hours a day, if you total it, and that's quite usual for this treatment because it's the second part of the treatment. Okay, that's fun. And so I'm just reading endlessly new poems that aren't published yet. Isn't that? What can I do? Is it terrible? No. Is it
Great. Awesome.
Okay, thank you. Listening to Chopin, doing Tai Chi, more packing to do, doing that, and seeing some squirrels on the ramshackle deck. They're running and playing and jumping. There's always more than ever too much to do, and seeing someone called out yesterday and crying a bit for all the loss and gain. There's nothing much more to make for this time. The paintings I did here are all packed, and the art supplies and the drawing books all filled. Listening to Debussy and doing Tai Chi and more packing and no one to talk with yet. Some excellent proofreading awaits me, and doing Tai Chi, missing my friend so bad, the magic cat, we played together so great, breathing, keep going with Tai Chi. And we never know, really, if we would return. So much did and didn't happen. We all went through the eye of the needle, he said. It was some kind of summer. Oh, and this time, I don't know whether I'll be returning. The wheels of the flashing chords and travel, the fingers over the keys, running, finding pieces of melody, and how much we don't know loves us and fills us, even moving. Oh, that's very optimistic, isn't it? Excellent. Sometimes it's hard working up to optimism, isn't it? Sometimes it's easy. Why is it so different all the time? Why is it sometimes like a piece of cake, and other times it's like so hard? What is that? Do we like variation? Or do we even like it, that it's hard sometimes? I feel the same way as you're expressing. Let's see what's next. I've never read this one either. This also is very recent. That's what I do in Mattawa. I just write my head off, as they used to say. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough violins. Mushka, mushka, there's not enough violins. For this arrangement, there's not enough violins for this mix. There's not enough violins for this passageway or for this fix. There's not enough violence for our species, or our moons, or moods, discoveries, or for our poignant questionings. Even though in this third a movement and how the show is going, then there's not enough violins, don't you think? For sure, there's not enough violins. Here's a visual drawing. Thank you. Excellent. Some of these poems are actually from breath. Isn't that strange? In a strange way. All right. There's three poems out. There's no always, of course. There's 3 or 4 poems I like to read from. There it is. It's The Sailor's Life, Still in Treatment. And a lot of that book is meditations. I felt I experienced loss, a separation, and I guess civilians would call it a divorce. And I don't know what that means. And so I was writing a lot about letting go, of course. And I got into some dreamy spaces with it, and spaces I'd never got into. And a lot of the book is about that, but not all of it. That's only one part of it, of course. Because even with divorce and separation and letting go, all these other things are continually happening. You know, while you're sitting there lamenting under a tree and hoping the branch doesn't fall on you because you're too sad to do anything to save yourself at that particular moment, you're realizing how beautiful the river is, how beautiful the sky is and all the trees, and how lucky you are. You can feel all this stuff, you know? And we've had a few hundred years of romantic literature to prep us for this moment. Is that not true? And et cetera, Yul Brynner, of course, right? With life, you never know. Meditations from Gold Mountain, softening the hard wiring and the self-patterning we all grow to identify with. Number 18, I numbered some of them, but the numbers aren't in sequence and they're meaningless, of course, so it's just something there. Hand wringing, letting go of obsession, dissolving into a new paradigm, ratio, antique. Never were the tango steps on the head. Love is the greatest gift. You are family here, more than muskrats, more than Eleanor was waiting in the larkspur, whittling something, and living in the hoopboard emblem, a gabardine night, marauder, tempest me this, maroon whisper, slip through. Explaining narrative number 7, I guess you've all wondered about that, maybe sleepless nights.
Yeah.
What's up with narrative number 7? I mean, number 5 we all get, you know, easy. Number 7 is kind of paradoxical and elusive, I feel. Explaining narrative number 7, I got to the train station and the train was gone. I got to the train station and the train was. I got to the train station in the train. I got to the train station and I got to the train station. I got to the train. I got to the, I'm deeply into this madcap arrangement here is now deeply into It's a Sailor's Life, still in treatment, meditations to Gold Mountain. So isn't that excellent for me? As well, hope for you. Finding a station beside the wayward path. And we fly on magic waves of sky, and the wonders of the half moon, ethereal and visceral. We stretch the range from exhilaration, enchantment, labor, ephemeral, all sentient being, what we dare and love to hold, measure, cradle, love and let go, the gain, loss, reprieve and last sailings, all temporary, the pleasure, the powers, even from within and ground and savor. You know the song, they are arias, soared, cascading, the beautiful dissipation of the wounding, all the possession, all planets, energy asunder, move through us, rise and fall, like the vast ocean nearby, and inside our organs, tissue and bone, clasp and grasp, embrace and love the time lost, let go, and ride another dream, more of what we don't know, infinite magnitude we stride, and run through the time and space, tremor and love, each breath of each being, all for a while, redolent within, touching and penetrating grief, howl and let go, reluctant and screaming, lesson, esophageal, building step by step toward acceptance within visible nature, the signs and the alphabet's words and syllables. Do you hear the tree reach out? It's music beside the waterly place, the coming brilliance of the night fire and of the new half moon following us all the way home. very much. I use the left eye all the time, which is kind of mysterious, because many people just get a patch on it, because it is distracting. When I'm looking down and put the water bottle there, I want to use my left eye, even though I can't see the bottle. So I try not to pay attention to what the left eye does, but I'm using it all the time. Is that a paradox? What is that? Never mind. Not to worry, it's always something, Gilda Radner said. Isn't that true? It's another highway. What is the soul that we dream it? What is the soul but that we live it? I held you in my arms and hands, then something moved, and I held the air in my hands. Both are wonderful. You are better. Another unreal comparison. And the will of the wind, often deciding many of the changes. Nothing ever pans out for long. The glint of the gold in the passing light. And I begin to accept not only do I belong with the wind, but I live in the words and images. That's where what and who lives in my heart. Just because I like you better than air doesn't mean you'll stay. Go over it again. Air doesn't stay, it is. And the fool's gold shines as well. And the hot sun of the life and the river's song moves within me, even as I find a quiet place by the river. In the north, for my daughter's ashes, may she be always loved, and those of her son, may he be always loved. I clambered down on the rocks. There is no wind. I mixed their ashes together and emptied the bag over the water. There is no wind. And then the wind comes up fast, and there's ashes over me and the rocks. Most of the ashes went into the water. I brushed the ashes off my t-shirt into the water from my body, saying goodbye. Again, we are all part of each other's body. I tell them I will always love them. I was honored to have wonderful, brilliant times with them, and I thank them, and my eyes filling up, got into some chanting, the honey chant I used to do. Honey, 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 honey. All the ringing and amazing love. We shared ashes over me. There's always some slapstick. And you never know, though you can think you will, how the wind will go, even if you belong to it. What is the soul that we dream it? What is the soul that we live it? The singing of spirits and spiritual, the chattering horses over that river there. The raccoon lookout, chorus of voices over the sparkling, changing river. Soothe us so, fine as nothing else can. Love us as love's bereft. Soothe the sayer on mountaintops and basement zero, and anywhere in between. The trouble is in the attachment. The fire finds us, and whether it matches, and for how long. The summer inside the moment. Each moment a galaxy we live in through. It's a beautiful galaxy, and find it somewhere else when it subsides, can't you? What can the wanderer stay? Where? There's less here than there, but the nature here is beautiful. What is the soul that we dream it? What is the soul that we live it and love? All the care it asks for, and the benefits, and the icon tables, and giraffe glassware. Thank you very much. What do you think? We okay? Thank you. My lawyer doesn't answer my calls anymore because I had two mothers for a while, and they thought it was time for me to make a will. This was some long time ago. I didn't think there was any hurry, and what's the bother? Anyway, I did it to make them happy, and they got very happy. And everyone I left everything to is already passed. So now when I phone my lawyer, he doesn't answer because they took all their names out, and there's nobody left there, I think, with the document he has now. So I don't think he wants to talk about it anymore. I creeped him out, I think. You know how we think things that we don't actually know? Isn't that amazing? This is a poem I partly wrote with a very good friend of mine, and Naomi Loffer, who's a wonderful painter and poet and dancer in Toronto that I work with quite a lot in the collective for the Secret Handshake that I'm part of, and I'm treasurer and I'm on the board. And we wrote this for a friend of hers that just experienced the loss of both her mother and her father in the same 2-month period. And it starts with a thing that she once said to me. And we did it. We wrote, Naomi and me wrote poems. We couldn't see each other because of all the COVID and the restrictions and stuff. We were both in quarantine. I don't know why exactly. My doctors told me not to leave. That's why. And anyway, so we would phone each other and work on poetry on the phone. It was very wonderful. And here's one of the ones we did. It's also in It's a Sailor's Life. What's the rest of that? Still in treatment? Yeah. Meditations in Gold Mountain. Excellent. Oh, so you know what? A box full of them came this morning, just as I was leaving. And there was only time to get the box filled. A big box came into my apartment, and I had to be down to meet the Beck car. I don't like the word had to, but that's where I was going, to the Beck car. There was no time to open it. So what do we have? There's some more copies in the back. Oh, there's paintings in the back as well. Recent paintings that I've done. I hope you'd like to have a look at. Excellent. This one I've never read. I am from Sugar Loaf Mountain, she said. Written with Naomi Loffer for Susan Spagnuolo. And I have seen the almost musical dirge and joyous uproar of generations coming into being and leaving this being here on earth, even with the waxing crescent moon signal for more departures and arrivals, often simultaneously within the same group or cluster. The crying and the laughing at the first cry, and the years later weeping for my mother and for my father. Another friend, she said, of striking deep trauma to falteringly arrange inside me, and I am always unprepared for the continuing onslaught of the big changes and the guilt, anguish, she said, from accident even, and the body's internal purposes, its agility and its letdowns. In Sugarloaf Mountain, she said, we loved and so enjoyed our waxing crescent moon nights, the sound of the crickets and the peepers or pipers, the baby droves and frog songs mixing with the crickets quite loud and amplified by the magic waters of the continuing river flow all around us. And the sadness of the dangers people make between each other, the war of receipts and competing accountability, whose turf, what debt, what is it based on? Watching good friends go through divorce like nations warring and trying for ceasefire the onlooker's wish, and listening and the darknesses in the human brain, soul, and motor faculties. Is it only juvenilia to never want to live with anyone again because of the pain of separating? There was better air on Sugarloaf Mountain, she added, crying. We pray for luminous, lustrous, liquid evenings under the crescent moon, still waxing here on Gold Mountain, and further still from Sugarloaf Mountain, within peace bubbles for everyone and no killing from anyone anywhere. And our friends, like nations warring, we wish them peace and fairness, love and respect, and no fears. We wish and we hope we live in when the virus lets up and we can all hug each other someday again, when we can thrive and be letting each other in, the sharing again. Even the moon is waning. We keep going through all the broken hearts ours included. And we go through hurdles and suddenly see a good friend or talk with, and clouds of experience lift, and fresh hopes and gladness happen, and a bird shouts out on the unweeping willow, and we can go on almost okay, and looking for more signals of acceptance and love, looking for repair. Thank you very much. Does everyone have some water or tea or something? Have we been here 3 days yet? I understood it was a reading for 4 days. Is that right? Did anyone here watch the musical White Christmas again in December? Excellent. It played more this year than other previous years, and on many channels. It was zany. I just surfed, see what's on. Oh my God, it's White Christmas. Shelley, how are you? Oh my God, it's on there too. Shelley, excellent. You know, wasn't that amazing? Get to see Vera Ellen again. Get to see Rosemary Clooney, George Clooney's aunt. We get to see Bing Crosby. We get to see Danny Kaye. Remember that great movie Danny Kaye was in with Angela Lansbury? This is an earlier one. And there was this whole verse in it about where is...
The chalice of the palace. And the
yes, can you do it, please? The pestle's in the pistol? No? Is the chalice is in the palace, the pestle is in the
The
pistol.
vessel with the pestle.
Go through what?
I think it was a vessel with the pestle.
The vessel with the pestle. Yes. And the pestle was like some kind of drug, I'm guessing?
Yes.
What was the pestle?
Something with the poison too. There is like
Oh, right, where the poison was. The poison was in the chalice, which is now in the palace. Because there's been a change. Remember that poem earlier, there's been a change? That's from that movie? Did you know? I guess you did. Very cool. Someone is here that's seen as many movies as I have, I guess.
my head is full of useless trivia.
It's great, isn't it? That gets us through everything, isn't it? I mean, that's very cool. Yeah, it's excellent. So what do you think about the race for Best Actor this coming Academy Award season? Do you think Austin will get it, or do you think Brendan's got a really good chance with The Whale?
Brendan, hands down.
Brendan, hands down. How many people, even though we know Brendan was like really excellent and is a brilliant actor, are really hoping for Austin? No. What the F?
Brendan's a real crowd favorite, and that will get
And he
him
wasn't
long
for a
way.
while until the movie came out.
Well,
I
he
see.
just disappeared for a while, didn't he? And
Yeah, he did. Yes.
started the ice cream bars.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that he's getting together.
Mhm.
Brilliant actor. So what do you think about Colin Farrell coming up the middle then? And neither Brendan or Austin would get it. Did you see that look of shimmering disappointment on Austin's face? But honorable, but he wasn't overdoing, oh great, Brendan got it, you know? And it was just, you see disappointment, like Lisa Marie had just gone to Spirit the day before, and then he doesn't win the award, the Critics' Choice. I was really hard to watch. I was really sorry for him. Because I thought he was amazing. Elvis was a brilliant film, wasn't it?
Yes.
How many people think it was brilliant?
I haven't seen it.
Not as many as I would have thought. Interesting, huh? What's everyone's favorite movie for this year? Tar. Okay, Tar's got a strong vote now. How about Women Talking? That's got a strong vote, yeah. So,
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once has got a strong vote. So Elvis's vote is not as strong as when it was first released. So it was an early release for this group, wasn't it, of nominees? So people are tired of it now. That can happen, I guess. I saw some of it recently again. I thought it was still very thrilling and awesome. Oh, okay, excellent. And you know, interestingly, Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler were both very young child actors. Did you know that? They came up through the business as child actors, then they were Teen of the Week actors. They've been acting for a very long time, and what is the word? They've seen, what is the word? They've been through hell. Remember Ella Fitzgerald singing Love for Sale? You know, and so their lives have been really, they've seen too much, you know. So I know what they could do. They could give a tie. Like, when I got brain surgery, and it was my first sort of quasi-waking day, and even though I didn't know anybody's name currently at that time because of the surgery, I knew the Oscars were on. Isn't that smart? They had a TV above my bed, and that year, so it was either 68 or 69, Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn tied for Best Actress.
Yeah.
I think they should do that for Austin and Brendan. I think it'd be way cool. I saw it on the sign. I know less than nothing. What was the Barbra Streisand movie? Hello, Dolly? Katharine Hepburn movie was Lion in Winter.
Yeah.
Great film. You can see that over and over again. And
Funny Girl.
huh?
Funny Girl?
Funny girl.
Oh, Funny Girl. Yes, that's it. Yes, which was also awesome, wasn't it? You can see that over and over. Okay, here's a poem about a tree. That's what it's called. In Mattawa, there's many trees, and I just hang around in the trees. You know, sometimes I climb them and just look around. You know, and that was that poem about I saw a ship made of ice and snow coming down the river. That was in Mattawa. I actually saw it the night of the recent storm that they made a fuss about on television. It only lasted 3 days in Mattawa, which is nothing. But the first night, I mean nothing for Mattawa, but the first night was so beautiful. Apparitions and visions were sailing down the river all night. And me and Boo Boo, he'd gone to spirit already. Yes. So I was up by myself looking out through the window, and I saw this beautiful ship. If it's for me, I'm busy. I'll call back. It was amazing.
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler? Okay. Tell him you're waiting for him. I don't know, this poem is so long, the tree poem. I don't know. Oh, it's one of the ones I read from that book. Okay, so I said to myself before now, read the three that you read from that book. And so it's a tree. Does it? I don't like the way I said that. It's like too title awareness, isn't it? A tree. You ever know?
Be the tree.
Which one?
Be the tree.
Oh, be the tree. Oh, that's a better title. Oh my God. Okay, excellent. Look, because it says a tree. What if it said B tree? Okay, excellent. A tree. Does a tree brood over a best friend saying something mean to them? And how can they get things better between them and okay again? Maybe like it used to be. Does a tree want to be clear-cut, burned to make way for more pollutants we can't breathe through or get sick and go to spirit from? Can people get better in time and say the names of trees? Spruce, fir, pine, cedar, redwoods, maple, oak, poplar, ash, birch, willow, jade, all the fruit-bearing trees, nuts, figs, olives, Japanese maple. Think of the Amazon rainforest, source of oxygen for worldwide, the BC rainforest, many other tree places. Do trees attack each other and play fearsome, hurtful games on each other, even without knowing? Mango, orange, apple, banana. Does a tree go over a topic with someone again and try to understand or declare a topic off limits? And if you both inadvertently encroached on each other's sovereignty, even if it's a new, unprepared for seeming circumstance, everything is always differently, changing. There is maybe no universal heading in these matters. Late at night, I've seen trees running and dancing under the full moon, ecstatic in the thundering rain, stealthy. Did anyone else see? If the only way through a people communications mess is to not bring it up again and let go and love each other regardless, then that's what to do. Everyone. What about Prince Harry driving up to Buckingham Palace and singing, "I'm sorry"? How did that song go? I'm sorry, isn't it? So sorry, I made you cry. Yes, he could do that. And Megan with him, a duet of early Patsy Cline and Connie Francis songs, right? That would make everything excellent again. Excellent. We'll send that in to them as a suggestion. Okay, cool, excellent. Everyone turns sometime, only like a tree does, growing upwards from the top, no leaves, and the light's changing into, so who's pulling the top of the trees up? Or who or what agency? Because I just found out recently, I guess you all knew, trees grow from the top. I never knew that, and so I'm laying there at night sleeping, maybe, and thinking, how does a tree pull itself up? Ginny? Does anyone know?
It doesn't pull, it reaches.
Oh. I'm good now. Excellent, excellent. Playing with the winds, warmth, hot and cold, and the rain and snow, blizzards and no leaves, and the lights changing into the darkness, changing into the light as our lives changing. Now it's hot dogs, now it's shrouds, now it's fire wheels, now it's fair feet full insecurity, now it's love. Does a tree ruminate on all these? Mostly a tree lasts longer than us, and the beauty of the tree singing in the wind of all the elements, changing fingers and touch on the truths of time, gives us cleaning air to breathe and shelter for our adventurous becoming. At the core of this apple, a Macintosh, a five-pointed petal or star, you can plainly see. Why we love some people very much. Breathe in and out, breathe in and out. Some people love you very much. They're not always the same people. There's a spell, full moon in Scorpio. You feel alone. It's a spell. Pray however you do that for all the millions of people going to spirit all over the world. Put them in delight. However you do that, so they don't feel so alone. I'm doing that tonight. Golden star, floating galaxy, mushroom dreams. If you feel unloved and left out of something, the spell is our worry about all the people going to spirit. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathing out. Your breath is the candle in the darkness. The light softly sing to them with. Thank you very much. Have I been here for 3 days now? So I said, after 3 days, look at a clock. 8:10?
Yes.
Oh my God, so what do we do?
Do an encore. Do one more.
Okay. Okay, Genius. Thank you. Okay. This is in the new book I'm working on now. And it's got some similarities to It's a Sailor's Life in some terms of ideas. it's kind of like a poet's statement, maybe. If a poet makes a statement, da da blah blah, you know what I'm saying? I live in the words and images, and I belong with the wind, and I don't know why, who did what to whom, or what. That's not where my intelligence thrives. My mind moves with the wind howling through the east trough, and where the birds sing on the lower branches of the great trees growing from their tallest wings. I know the who and what, even the when, but often that's conjecture. Yes, especially in the realms of romance. And why are you here where you are? Where is here? Howling in the wind, I saw him holding in the night freezing winds to the cold railing on the silver bridge. Each word is another word. Here's where I live, I said to Dr. Owl, or whoa, in these handful of words and images, sometimes bright and sometimes rusty, blow the dust off. And wear these for a while. They can help you get over the bridge if you let them soothe and enlarge your passage to the other side where they say it's warmer and more golden. Is that even a part of the whole story? If it is a partial view of the gravity-based mobile we work and play and study on, hard at the wheel, sometimes hold on to, if only to enjoy the ride more, like in a carnival, going so high up for a while, and all the unresting of it is enough. Is anything enough for long? We are on the other side of the silver bridge, and page 2 is missing.